We have developed one of the most intuitive and logical and useful trading journals on the planet. And the best part is there's no subscription. It's completely local. You don't need a web browser. We built it in Notion and it can be yours forever. P&L is completely automatic. You can have unlimited accounts. You can completely customize it. You can track things like habits, moods, trades, general day-to-day to-do lists, and it's all so simple. So let's have a look. So here we are in the Elite Trading Journal. Now this is all completely customizable, so you can change the cover if you do not want our branding here. You can change the name. You can get rid of this if you desire to. So as you can see here, we have an account overview, so we can add new accounts as we wish. There's an unlimited amount. There is no restrictions here whatsoever. And these are very, very logical and intuitive, as I've already mentioned. So rather than having to go mess around and do crazy things just to update your accounts, let's say you deposit, let's say 5,000 into this backtesting account. Type in 5,000 on deposit amount, click deposit, confirm, and then you will see that's just updated here to 11,000. So now let's say we actually want to withdraw 8,000 from this account. Again, we just type in 8,000 in our withdrawal amount, we click withdraw, we confirm, and that will update there. So now you can see the balance is now 3,000. We can set goals, so you can have an account goal. This can be anything. In this case, I've set 50,000, and you can see I'm 6% of the way to the 50,000 goal. We also have win rates here, so you can see the win rate is 68% on this account. We're 7% of the way to the 50,000 goal. And the win rate is completely automatic. So when you fill out a trade, whether it be a win or a loss, this is updated automatically, which is great. Something that I really love about this journal is the trading summary. So we can have this by day. It's Saturday today, so there is no trading day. I like to use the weekly, so I can get an overview of my week. So you can see Thursday and Friday were pretty strong here with $38 and $84. So we can click on Friday and we can just see a brief overview here. 64% win rate. $84 made. We took 14 trades, and that's that. So if you have filled out some trades and you don't see the results showing up here, just make sure the account is set to the correct one. Make sure, if it's backtesting, I'm not going to see anything. But if it's live one, that's when I see my data. So just ensure you've got the right account selected if you're not seeing results here. We also have an equity curve, which I think is really, really cool. So you can have it daily, weekly, or monthly. Now, there is an important part of the equity curve to make sure it works properly, which I'll go into now. So when you create a new trade, so let's go to a journal for a second here. You will see that the trade ID is in a chronological order. It counts up from 0001 all the way up until 00022. So if I was to create a new one, I would need 0023, and it just counts up. You can have it 1, 2, 3, 4. You can have 001, whatever you want. It's fine as long as it's in order. And the reason for that is because the equity curve works in a chronological order. It reads the trades from 01 or 1 all the way up. So that's an important thing you need to keep in mind. So when it comes to logging a trade, there are lots of different things you can do. You can select which account the trade was taken on. You can select the date that the trade was taken. You can select what pair or what asset. If you don't have your assets already in this list, you can click pair, and then you can go to create or add new page. And let's just say it's BBAI, which is a stock for this example. Then to get this icon, you would just click on this little page thing, and you can set whatever icon you want here, and that will now show up in the list that you can select. So it's all very, very simple and straightforward. It's all very, very smart. So on these trades here, we can have all sorts of different things. So we've got the direction, whether it's long or short, what session was the trade taken in, what confluences, and these are all customizable. So again, if you go into your confluences section here, you can get rid of mine. So these are all the ones that I've added, and you can add your own ones. Entry price is obviously self-explanatory, what price you exited. Net P&L, gross P&L, and fees are pretty cool. So net P&L is automatic. So let's say we made $50 on this trade. However, we had to pay $5 in fees, which is -5. You can see net P&L updates automatically as 45. So the gross was 50. We lose $5. That gives us a net gain of 45. So it's all pretty straightforward and pretty cool. Let me just get rid of that there. So then we've got our model, and these are essentially just the strategies. So you can click on models, you can delete mine, and you can add your own. So let's go into the models for a second here, because this is pretty cool. So you can see which model is doing the best. So for example, on the momentum model here, you can see there's a 70% win rate with 17 trades, 12 won, 5 loss. So you can see eventually which strategies are doing the best, which ones are the worst, and you can start filtering out the worst performing ones and replacing them with better performing ones and start to optimize your trading in this way. And it's a very, very strong thing to have. It's very simple as well. It's so straightforward. So let's go back to the journal. Let's continue from where we just were. Here we have the status, obviously break even, closed by TP, closed manually, open or stopped. That's of course just the outcome of the trade. Outcome here is completely automatic. So if you are in positive P&L, then it will count as a win. If it's in negative, it'll be a loss. And if it's nothing, so if it's zero, it'll be break even. So you don't need to do anything here. It's completely automatic. Beyond that, we then have our entry screenshot, our exit screenshot, and you can leave a comment here so you can write about why you took the trade. And a good example for this, let me just delete this real quick. A good example of this, if we go to the gallery, you can see a whole list of all the trades with screenshots. And I really love this. I think this is a really clean way. But a good example of using notes is this, on this euro-dollar trade. So there was a whole economic thesis here. We've got the exit screenshot. Unfortunately, this was a losing trade. Entry screenshot here, along with all of the different details. We've also got a calendar. So if we scroll down here, you can see on the days. Of course, again, I just want to reiterate, this is all dummy information for you to visualize and for me to display what the trading journal does. But you can see, what trades were taken on what day, what the outcome was. If you wanted to see more details on a trade, you can go to the switch icon up here, these two toggles. Click on property visibility. So let's say you want to see what P&L. There you go. You can see we made $18, negative 13, etc., etc. So that's pretty cool. And then beyond that, we've got lots of other things. So we've got our backtest. This is the same as the journal, but for backtesting. So if you wanted to use the backtest account that you can see here, then we just use the backtest journal. So it's two separate ones. So you don't need to mess around with your real journal and start adding in fake trades just to test it. You have a dedicated space here for backtesting. The next one I think is really cool is this research page. So in here, this is made specifically for fundamental research was what we had in mind, but you can use it for pretty much anything. So you can see here, we've got tags for macro technical psychology. You could add anything you want. So you could add sentiment. So if you wanted to start researching that, you can see we've now got a sentiment tag and that can be filtered here. So once we have, I'm just going to change that back and delete it. So I don't want that. There we go. So once we're done with that, we can click on a tick. So we can tick that. Once we've done that, it will get moved to the archive section. And the reason we added an archive section, not just a delete button, is because as a fundamental trader, someone who pays attention to the macros, we often see repeats of things. So if I wanted to go back and look at some research I did a year ago, I don't want to keep all of my 12 months, 24 months of research in this, because that would get very messy. It would get hard to focus on what I'm looking at right now. But if I want to go and reference something, I can go to the archive. I can go and find 2025 May week 1. I can click on this and I can go and look, or back in April I can go and look at this one. So I have all the previous research that I've done, but I just don't have to keep it on the main page. And again, you can filter it by tag, but you could make more advanced tags if there was something you wanted to drill down on, whether it be, specifically support and resistance, specifically central banks, specifically inflation, whatever it may be. So I think that's really cool. Strategies, this one's very basic, but it's very useful. So if you are trading actively, you can say, okay, there's a setup, there's a 50% pullback, the trend's in my favor, there's an RSI extreme, and the macro landscape is supportive, so this is a valid trade. Or maybe, only 3 of the 4 things are valid. You can fill these out completely customizable, so you can add your own criterion here, and this just makes sure that you are following your rules actively as you are trading. You can keep this open on a different monitor, or just keep it on a tab, whatever it may be. Next thing is embeds. This is pretty basic. There's an economic calendar, a news feed here. We've also got a currency heat map and some charts down here. There's nothing overly complex, but you can add and remove your own as you please to. The next is tasks. So this is more of a general to-do list. You can add anything in here, whether it be trading related. We've got tags here. So free time, trading, work, personal, and the priority. So this is a good way, if you need to do a trade review on a Sunday, or you want to do trade planning on a Saturday, or you need to go to a work meeting on, next Thursday, you can add it in here and use it as a general to-do list. The next one is psychology, and this one's very important, I think. So you might have noticed actually shortcuts here. You can add a new trade very quickly. You can add a new task, which goes to your tasks list that we just looked at. And track mood is this here. So you can do all of this from the homepage without having to go into the subsections, which I think is very, very nice. So you can go here, leave the name as log, add whatever date that you're obviously logging. The mood before trading could be, you know, bittersweet. The mood during trading could be bittersweet. And then you could be, and then you could be proud after the fact, after you hit a nice take profit. Then you can track your hours sleep. So let's say we got 4 hours sleep and that was causing some bittersweet feelings. The sleep quality bad, energy was low. So the idea of this is so you can start tracking your emotions. You can say, okay, well, I've been on a losing streak this week, and I've also noticed my sleeping has been off. I've had low energy and I felt very anxious. So maybe if I see these patterns start to emerge again, I actually just take that time away. And vice versa. If you have very, very good sleep and you've got high energy and you're feeling very good, then you notice a winning streak and you can start doubling down on those periods. And this is a very good way just to keep yourself accountable, but also recognize patterns in your own behavior and your own sleeping schedule and say, okay, well, you know, this is good, this is bad, and start recognizing those things. Because bad sleep does impact your cognitive behavior and your skill set in general. Anyway, moving on. Education, I think this is very, very important here. So we can add books, courses, YouTube videos, whatever you want to do, and you can basically just keep track of your own progress, your own education or education path, whatever it may be. And this way you could just say, okay, I've finished this book, next book is this one, I've done this course, the next course I want to do is this one. Then following on from that, you can take notes in the notes section here. So let's say you've just done the Elite Traders education course. You could take notes, fill it all in here. Again, you can add your own tags, whether it be fundamental, technical, whatever it is, and you can keep notes. It's a general note-taking tool. As we've got our research paper or a research page here that's specifically for research. This one is specifically for more general notes, whether you're in a work meeting, whether it be taking notes from a course or a book or whatever it is, whether it be university even. So the last thing to get onto is the back end here. Now, I would urge you to stay away from this as much as possible because you are at very high risk of breaking the Notion template if you do start messing around here. So things like accounts, you can go and add new accounts, remove accounts, edit your details and things. This is basically where all of the logic is. So again, in moods, you can go and change or add different moods. If there's one here you don't want or you want more, you can go and add your own. Just click add new page. So you got positive emotions, negative, and other/complex. Then we've got things like, tasks, notes. If you want to add different sessions or remove sessions, you can do that. And again, you can see the statistics of your sessions. So you can see win rate for New York is 83.3. Win rate for London is only 50. So there's all these different things that are in here that will benefit your trading. But just be, again, very careful not to break things. So pair, again, as I've already mentioned, you can add different pairs. You can remove pairs. If you don't trade oil, just click it and click the bin, and that will remove oil from the list, and you can add your own one here as we've already displayed. So it's, in my view, one of the most advanced trading journals. Now keep in mind it's all automatic, so all you need to do is input your trade. All of the stats, all of the summaries, the equity curve, everything will happen automatically for you. I haven't seen another Notion template work as well as this. There are two ways to get access to this Notion template. Number one, if you are in the Elite Traders Discord, you have access to this 100% free. It's included in your membership. Number two, if you're not in our Discord, you're not a member, you can get access with the link in the description on our Gumroad account. I'll be honest, this is $28. I'm not doing it for free. I'm not that nice. We put a lot of time and effort into developing it, and journaling is an essential part of trading. Being able to look back and reflect on what went right, what went wrong, where you need to improve, and what you need to double down on to make more money. So if $28 isn't worth it to you, fine, click off the video. If this is something that you think you need to advance, which, to be honest, I think it is, then go for it. And one way to look at it is things like Edgeful, TradeZelle, whatever these other platforms are doing, it can be $30 to $50, $60 a month. I'm charging half of that for a one-time fee, and you keep it forever. So the decision is yours. See you later.